Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares after a 2-week break. What's happening, everybody? We got in the house. Lynn Versace's back. Chris Allo's here. Nick Franco, our center square. Steve Keeler from Rock Fantasy. Ryan Scow, and our radio personality superstar, Sydney Taylor. How's everybody doing?
Hey. Good.
Doing well, Pete.
Yep, doing good, Pete. Doing good.
We're talking about live songs that are the definitive versions of those songs, to us anyway. So there's a lot of bands that we talk about here on the channel. There's a lot of bands that we are among our favorites. We talk about live albums all the time. Well, today is all about those great, great songs where for us, the live versions from one of those live albums, that's the definitive version of the song and it beats the studio version. So I've asked everybody to pick out 5. Maybe we'll have some honorable mentions at the end. We're going to go Lynn, Chris, Nick, Steve, Sydney, Ryan, and myself. Round and round and round till we get to number 1. So Lynn, welcome back. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
I missed you guys. I was like, oh man, I'm missing my peeps on Monday night. But Peter, your haircut looks good. Sydney, I want to congratulate you on the show because I haven't seen you. So
thank you.
I think you're fucking awesome. I'm very excited. Oh, sorry. F-bomb again.
F-bomb and a minute and a half. Gotta love that.
Bombs already.
I'm sorry. I can't control myself. That's how much I missed you guys.
We can still swear occasionally.
Yeah, this show has an MA rating, doesn't it? So it's totally fine.
Does it? I hope so. Well, it does now.
Mature audiences only need apply.
So, I had a really hard time with this because I love most of the live versions on a lot of songs because it's live music, right? And anytime you hear live music with a crowd, it just gets me in the feels and it makes me feel amazing anyway. So I really have a ton of songs, but I think my favorites, and I think one that I just saw in 2019 be done by Mr. Peter Frampton, right? Frampton Comes Alive.
Okay.
But I saw him do Baby I Love Your Way at the Garden, right? So yeah, he's got it on a live record, but I saw him for fucking Billy Joel's 80th birthday party at the Garden. It was on the floor. I was like 10 rows back. It was unbelievable. So it's on Frampton Comes Alive, but I saw him do it live at the Garden just a couple of years ago. Thank you, Miss Sydney.
Nice.
And look how cute he was. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
All right, he's still cute. I don't care. Either way, so that definitely has to be on my live list for sure, because hey, it's Peter Frampton and he's pretty freaking amazing. Also live at the Budokan, I got Cheap Trick. I Want You to Want Me. I mean, I like to hear all the people screaming in the background, and again, another cute one. He's aged well, but yeah, I thought that was a good record. Of course, all the songs on that record are great to me. And of course, number 3 is Victim of Changes, Priest, Unleashed in the East, because it's Priest. And again, not that I don't love the whole catalog, I do, but Victim of Changes is one of my favorite songs. Folsom Prison Blues from Johnny Cash, live from Folsom State Prison. And I think the reason that song kind of hits home with me is because my dad turned me on to that song. And my dad and I still do it. We watched all those old movies, all the old Westerns, and Johnny Cash was kind of like, he was into all that bad boy Western kind of stuff. So I think that brings me back to like, just chilling with my dad, listening to that record and stuff. And it's still great to this day. So I also have Bob Marley live at the Rainbow, doing No Woman, No Cry, because that's freaking amazing. I love that. And I have a couple honorable mentions, which is, I have 2 from this record, really. Exit Stage Left, Rush. I love YYZ. I think it's freaking ridiculous. And it's funny because YYZ, the reason I think they named it that was like based off Morse code, from what I'm told. And I live right down the road from the Samuel B. Morse Historic Site. You know the guy who invented Morse code?
If I'm not mistaken, Lynn, isn't YYZ the airport code for an airport that they were
one of the Toronto airport codes?
Yeah, I don't know, but I heard it was like when I was reading up on it, they said something about the they were doing something about Morse code. So I don't know.
Maybe both. It's probably both.
I don't know. Like that's what I read. But either way, I thought it was fucking cool because I live down the road from that. So either way, whatever's true. But I also like La Villa Strangiato. I love that song. Like really, really down deep. I love that song. So that was the two off that record. And then I don't want to forget, and I don't know if you guys knew him, and I know Stephen, you did, Fran, our friend Fran, that passed away. He was Paul Stanley's guitar tech. So I want to pick Kiss Rock and Roll All Night off of Live's 1975. And I want to dedicate that pick to him because Fran just passed away. And he was Paul Stanley's guitar tech for 20 years. And I love Fran. And I was just talking to Andrew Freeman, who is the singer from Last in Line the other day at the Chance. And Stephen, he did say he was going to come to see you this week at Rock
Andrew
Fantasy.
was coming to see me this week. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he said he was coming to Rock Fantasy. So I told him maybe
Great.
so I may do a drive-by pop-in. You never know. But,
You know what? There
but
you
yeah,
go.
I definitely want to dedicate that song to Fran because he was the voice. You know, you wanted the best, you got the best. He was that guy, and rest in peace, Fran.
A lot of
And,
people didn't know. They thought he was the guitar tech. A lot of people didn't know he did the intro, which
he did the
just
intro
found
and he
out
was the
too.
guitar tech. Yeah, he did both. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was kind of their right-hand man. I knocked to somebody
Yeah.
else. I think he
Yeah.
did a lot of work for Gene too, helping those guys. too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he
stuff.
sure
was
did.
Really Kiss's right-hand man, and it's a big loss.
Totally.
Especially
Huge
for
loss.
someone
Huge
that grew
loss to
up-
our community from back in the day, and it's a huge loss to the rock and roll community in general, you know.
Kid, I remember shopping in my store in the 80s and
Yeah.
playing in the local bands like No
Yeah.
Justice and bands
Yeah,
with
some good
Andrew.
times.
And some dark times
Yeah.
we're going through at times.
They
but
were. We're having a tough
Yes.
time over here. I know our friends group is getting smaller, but it's
Yes.
cool because when I went to see him, he let me take pictures with Paul Stanley's guitar and with Gene's bass. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, so I want to dedicate that to him. So that's my live picks.
Awesome.
Some good stuff there. Yeah, it's funny, like Franson Comes Alive and Cheap Trick Live and Budokan. I think most people would agree that every song on both of those live albums are probably the definitive versions of those songs because I think
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
took off with those live albums. So that's that era, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Allen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
All right.
really quick, you know what? Really quick, the live at Budokan. The Dream Theater did live at Budokan. And that was a fucking good album too. So just saying.
Yep, true. Budokan was a place to play.
I know.
I think Chris
Right.
has some live stuff from Japan, right? I think.
course he
Oh,
does.
yeah. I
Chris
have a
has a
wing.
huge
I
catalog.
have a
from
wing.
Japan.
Yeah, I have some stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna
Well,
say.
I was gonna say, yeah. Since the last time I was on, I was able to do something I haven't done in almost 2 years, and that's go to 2 concerts. Thanks to Nick and Ryan and their handsome friend Craig. These 3 very nice gentlemen dragged me down to New York City to see Cradle Filth, which was awesome to see an actual concert again.
Good for
These guys
you.
were great hosts. And after that, the other day, I went to the Chance at Poughkeepsie and saw the Last in Line, who were fantastic. And it was great to go to the Chance again. And I was going to say, I know obviously we're all talking about concert related stuff. And I was going to say, man, I can't think of a better time just to implore everyone out there who's a music fan. They really should support the bands and support all these concert venues and
question.
try and see shows while you can and while there's still venues because God only knows
Yeah.
what's going to happen. So go
And
out
wear a
and do all
mask
you
if they're
can.
not comfortable,
Yeah, absolutely. Do whatever you
Wear a
got to
mask,
do.
whatever makes you
to-
comfortable.
to make yourself comfortable to see a show. But
Or don't wear
it was,
pants.
it was fucking awesome to be at a concert again. I was like, this is great. I mean, I gotta admit, I absolutely got the olds. More so for the Last in Line on Saturday. I walked out of there after standing for an hour and a half. I'm like, holy shit, man! I got to get my concert legs back. I'm like, my back hurts, my leg hurts. I'm like, man, I got to get some cardio in or something.
Oh, that's great.
But it was awesome to see shows again.
You got some work to do,
especially too
Chris,
at the
'cause
Chance.
Chris and I are going to Chiller Theater on Saturday, and that's going to be a
Yes.
lot of walking around and standing up.
Oof.
And then
Oh, my friend Randy's working. You got to say hi.
we will do that. And then we got the 24-hour horathon.
Yes.
after that. So man, it's
Thankfully, that's a lot of sitting though.
that's a lot of sitting. Probably too
Not
much.
sitting.
Yeah. We got to bring pillows for our butts and our backs. So
Gotta see if you can stay awake the whole time.
Butt
Butt pillows. We need butt.
24 hours.
yeah, I have that. But that's what the caffeine's for. But all right. So live tracks. Okay. Real quick. Number one on my list. Even though I don't think the definitive version is the one on the record, just live in general, I love this song more in person, or at least I used to anyway, when this band existed. Raining Blood. Just, the fact that the band in recent years, they didn't do it always, but, on the record, it opens with the thundering and the lightning, and then it goes right into the song. But live, the members of the band would turn their back to the audience and just create like just this wall of noise, feedback, and it would just whip the audience into a frenzy. And it was a cool intro into the song. Everybody knew what was coming, so I liked the live version of Raining Blood better. I really didn't want to be that guy and talk about Sabbath more, but since I'm old and tired, I really couldn't think it too much. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to talk what I know. And the number 2 track for me, Symptom of the Universe. I think that's one of the greatest Black Sabbath songs, one of the greatest riffs. I mean, all 4 guys are on fire, but at that 4-minute mark, it goes to that weird, shitty, jazzy little fucking ditty. I hate it. Sabbath never played that part live. Whenever I listen to the CD, Sabotage, I just fucking skip it. As soon as it hits that part, I just click. So I hate that part.
The ditty.
Listen,
I like the ditty.
Sabbath must hate that part because they never played it live. So I'm going with the live version. Along the same lines, Heaven and Hell. I mean, I love the version on the album, but live, the record's like 7 minutes. I don't even think it is 7 minutes. I think it's like 6 and change or something. But live, Ronnie would, like on Live Evil, Ronnie would do the sing along in the beginning. Then they would do part of the song. Then it would go into the Tony guitar solo. Then it would go into Sign of the Southern Cross. Then back into Heaven and Hell, where Ronnie just they added a whole an extra verse that's only on the live version. And then they would end the song and then go into Paranoid and then go back into Heaven and Hell. I mean, Heaven and Hell was just this massive like centerpiece, it's not jamming. They just extended the song. So that's my second pick. What else? Oh, Fear of the Dark from Iron Maiden. It's a pretty good tune on the record, but man, live, as soon as they hit those first notes, man, the entire audience is like is humming along or singing along the melody. It's crazy. And I think that was one of those things that like I think it started at like I'm sure with either European or South American audiences, and then it just like traveled, and now like everywhere everybody does it. It's crazy, but
Everybody sings the guitar part.
yeah, it's super cool, and it's just I don't know, it makes it more fun. And I'm a fifth one by me. I'm for my pick, any song by Rammstein. Rammstein's fucking great live. I got all the records and they're good. Sometimes I like to shake my ass a little bit when I'm driving a car late at night when no one sees me, like to,
Nice.
But man, live.
He doesn't like ass shaking. Really?
Totally. Hey, listen, got to stay awake somehow. But live, man, their songs are all so much fucking intense with that insane pyro, and the bass is just thumping, and everybody's pogoing, and shit is exploding off of people's heads. So whether it's Link's 1, 2, 3, 4, Du Hast or Ich Will or any of those songs, man, they are just fucking so much better live than than playing the CD. So there's my 5.
Cool. Our center square.
I got to see Rammstein again. They're so.
Oh, dude, they are fantastic live. I've seen them, I think, 5 or 6 times. They are so big in Europe that in 2005, Original Sabbath opened for them. I forget. Ozzy came out and he's
That's
like,
insane.
Ozzy's like, we haven't opened up for anybody since 1971, man. But I mean, Sabbath got a full set, but Sabbath came on before Rammstein. Rammstein.
Wow.
It was just one stage. It's not like it was multiple stages.
Yeah.
Of course,
But yeah, they are massive.
Rammstein is a much
That's a little out of
crazier
control.
show.
Yeah.
That is
Way more fire. So much fucking fire.
Sabbath opener for them is a little out of control, but
Yeah.
whatever.
They are a lot of fun live. I mean, I took a buddy of mine, and he's probably been to 500 shows. And when the show ended, I was like, my buddy Big Rich, I was like, Rich, what do you think of the show? He looked at me, he goes, I didn't know one fucking song, but that was the greatest show I ever saw in my life.
A lot of energy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
A lot of
yeah.
fire.
Yep.
All right, the bearded one is up next.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
You can grow it on your head. I grow it over in the face.
It looks nice, Nicholas.
wherever you can grow it, I guess. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Just remind me the next time Chris Al is in my car to play Ramstein. Because
Oh, yeah. I'll do some shit. Just one shoulder.
Yeah, oh yeah. All right, so my 5, you know, I could go a lot of different ways, even though I realized that I'm not the biggest live album buyer. Like I do like listening to it, but it has to be a really good recording. Otherwise, I don't know. I'd rather be at the show, you know. But as far as listening to live versions of songs and having them be better, first one I'm going to go with is off of the Live in London album from 2005 that saw Testament's classic lineup get together. When they played Disciples of the Watch from the New Order album. Wow, that's a really great version. It's, what do you call it? Chuck Billy's voice is so heavy and perfect during that. That actually is a very good live album. And that Disciples, they play it last. They stoke the crowd up. Chuck goes, you know, Disciples, like before they even start playing, everybody just goes nuts when it kicks in. What a great version. So if I was going to listen to that song, I would go for that version.
Nick, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to ruin that song for you, but a couple of years ago, I was listening to it, and it was remarked to me, and he said, is he saying Cycles of the Wash? And that's it. I can't ever hear that. Every
That's
time I hear that
awesome.
song, I hear Cycles of the Wash. And I
Yeah,
never,
it's the-
Oh my
It is.
God.
It's
Now I'm
about
gonna
a watch.
sing that.
Poor,
never hear
poor,
it. You'll never hear
poor,
the Cycles again.
well, that's pretty
Anyways,
goofy.
sorry about that. Carry
Next
on.
time I do laundry, I'm going to yell at the washing
You're
machine.
not, you'll never leave your brain now. You'll never
Cycles
leave
of
your
the
brain.
wash. It's
That's
done.
great.
Obey, or I'll pour in that bleach. I'm here all night. Anyway,
Nice.
moving along. A little bit of a lesser known band, but you guys have heard me talk about My Dying Bride from England. And they're very doomy and very, very somber music most of the time. But they have this one song, it's called Your Shameful Heaven. It's a song entirely about S&M.
That's
Like
hot.
very poetic and literary, ode to bondage. And when they play it live. It's live at the Dynamo Fest from 1995, which is in Holland, I believe. And it's a bit of a faster version. It's got some violin and stuff in it, but it sounds so good. They speed it up a little bit more energy, and that is the studio version is good. That version is fantastic, crackling.
Nice.
And where are we here? Moving along now. Now Bruce Dickinson's Chemical Wedding is one of the most perfect heavy metal albums out there,
That's a
and
true
everything on it is great.
It's also
When I got the Best of Bruce Dickinson double album, there's a version of Book of Fell on it that was recorded. That's his Scream for Me Brazil. And let me tell you something, that Brazilian crowd was pumped up. And when the music kicks in, it starts out with that slow, like acoustic little, down and then it just like kicks in. When it kicks in with that crowd, they start going, oh, like that, and it adds so much energy to it, and it's such a great song. And Bruce live is Bruce. So
Nick, can I interrupt one more time?
yes, what does it sound like?
There's a version of the song Jerusalem from that album with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull. I don't think it's on a recording, but it's on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
YouTube that shit. It's fucking awesome. It's really good. I'm gonna
Oh,
say
send us
better
the
than,
link later.
What's up?
Yeah.
Send us the link later. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's I think it's better than the version on the album. Yeah, it's the one with Ian Anderson. I was at some like theater in London somewhere, it looks like, where they recorded it, but very cool.
I should have been there for that.
Carry on.
Bruce is a huge Jethro Tull fan, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he enjoyed that quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure. And yeah, so definitely check that out if anybody wants to hear that. Both versions of the song are great, but live with that crowd pumping you up. And then I'm gonna go with I'm gonna remain with Bruce, but with his other day job. Iron Maiden, and Beast over Hammersmith in '82 when they did Total Eclipse. I
Yes.
love that version of Total Eclipse.
That's a great one.
It's
Amazing.
just, it's a little bit superior to the recorded one to me.
Yes.
Can't
Mhm.
beat that. But my number one, because it's number one, I love the song so much. You guys, at least most of you, I think, like Blind Guardian. When they recorded this song, the song is Valhalla. When they recorded it on their studio album, it was Follow the Blind. It was one of their old albums. It's good, you know, they're a little, it's young in their career. So, you know, by the time they recorded it on this, one of my favorite live albums of all times, Tokyo Tales, the Japanese crowd, this was in what, 95 they recorded this, maybe 96?
Yeah, I think that was 95.
95, yeah. So when they play Valhalla here, as anyone who knows it knows, it's a very singable, epic chorus. And the Japanese crowd is almost unequaled. When they get going, they know every word, every guitar tone, every solo, and they're singing along, bolstering the chorus, Valhalla. You don't want to hear me do it, believe me, but go listen to that. It just raises the hair on your arms. It's so amazing. The relationship between the band and the crowd and that perfect moment, that's what live albums are all about, creating that moment. And if you can translate that moment to like where, you know, in your headphones on 10 years from now, you can feel that moment, what they must have felt, that's how you know they succeeded. So those are my 5.
Cool.
Nice.
Nice. Mr. Keeler.
All righty. All right. I guess they're not no particular order. And Lynn took one of mine, which is Victim of Change. It's Unleashed in the East. There might be a couple other songs on Unleashed in the East that actually like the live version as much or better than the studio version, but it's tough because it's Priest. But number 5, I'm gonna go with a song, and I think some songs I picked on this list are because they're great, because they're live and it's about something that's about the road, and We Are the Road Crew from No Sleep to Hammersmith, Motorhead. I thought that's just so much electric energy in that song live, and picking that one. Number 4, I'm gonna go back to 1971 with one of the best live albums ever made, the Allman Brothers Band live at the Fillmore East, and I'm going with the Whipping Post. Cool. Number 3, I'm moving over to the Scorpions Worldwide Live in 1985 with Coming Home. Just think it's such a great song. I got to see them perform that live around that tour, and Claus and all talking about the road and being on the tour, and you know, I just came up with that one in my head today. Number 2, you guys mentioned Peter Frampton and Cheap Trick, and those albums really launched both of their careers. The live ones did. And there's another band, as we mentioned, rest in peace, of course, to Fran Stuber, and Kiss Alive is another one. That Kiss really broke it with the live album, and I'm gonna go with Black
Yeah.
Diamond from that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I know someone was gonna say, because if you look online and look at the best live songs, they're better than the studio. You're gonna see Rock and Roll All Night. You're gonna see I Want You to Want Me, and you're gonna see the typical ones. I figured I'd pick something else. And one of the strongest ones, I would say, we're going back to Ted Nugent in the 70s and the monster he was, arena, a stadium filling talent, Stranglehold from Double Live Gonzo. I mean,
Nice.
that whole album
That's
is
freaking awesome.
kind of puts it over the top. Honorable mentions, I have a couple. I'm not even sure if this song was ever recorded studio. I think it might have been Traveling Man, Leonard Skinner from More From the Road in 76. And I guess if the live version is the only way, so I kind of cheated on that one. Of course, I mentioned Cheap Trick for Let's Go With Surrender, or I Want You to Want Me, of course. Bertha from Grateful Dead, Skull and Roses, 71. Of course, the Grateful Dead, most people their fans even like their live stuff more than their studio. And I'm going with Led Zeppelin from Song Remains the Same, Dazed and Confused. I loved that movie. I grew up with it, and I really like it. I could even go with Celebration Day on that. Just the electricity. Whether it's actually a fully live album or not, I don't know. But
Actually, I was disappointed that Chris didn't pick Days and Confused from that album.
I was gonna say, isn't that like the 28-minute
accept it.
version? Holy shit!
I thought that Chris was only gonna pick stuff
Oof.
from Fish, The Grateful Dead, The Almond,
Jesus.
you
I'm a
know.
little surprised, Jam, but here's a 35-minute version of
As soon as Steve said, the Allman Brothers live from the Fillmore, I'm like, oh man, I've heard stories
Yeah.
about them.
Too heavy for you.
Now I want to hear Whipping Post though. I have to listen
But
to it.
only the 98-minute version. That's the one I want.
Allman Brothers can make a 3-minute song into an hour song, and you're just gonna love every minute of it. Still.
That's right. That's right.
Chris
Not for
Allen
Chris
doesn't even have an Allman Brothers record, so don't speak. on it.
No, I don't. I do not. I
Never
still
even listen to Queen.
or rumors.
Rumors.
Still don't
Wow.
have it.
They were piling it on. We're piling it on Chris right now. Sorry, but Chris, thank you very much for staying up all night last night and listening.
Wait,
to
what's
the-
Chris's address? I think we need to send him a care package.
There's
Nice.
30 copies of Rumors.
Anonymous version.
Just pull up outside of his house and blast rumors off for like a.
I'll get you the original. I'll get you the
radio.
remastered. I'll
Oh,
get you the
so good,
live
so good.
version.
We'll
So that
hold the radio up like that movie
I'll
back
do
in
the
the
curse
80s.
for you so that you don't have to do it for yourself.
Nice.
Real,
Thank you.
real.
And then we're gonna have to go to Sydney's house and play Rush through the window.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Locking my door. No thanks.
Then we're gonna go to Ryan's house to play Queen. So I tell you, we can have a blast here.
Oh, this is awesome. I love it. I'm totally down.
And Steve, you know what's funny? When I was putting my list together, I pulled out Kiss Alive, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Every song on this album for me is a definitive version of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
I
Yeah.
tie for number
Hell
5,
yeah.
all of Kiss Alive.
Pete, I would extend that
Agreed.
to the live too. The versions on the live too, I like more than all the studio.
Very good. Yeah, both of them, and
Both
you
of
know,
those were,
Yeah,
the ad
definitive
with Cheap
versions,
Trick
all
and the
those.
ad with the
Yeah.
Frampton album, of course. Everybody had that Frampton album in the 70s. Who was alive then? Every girl had it because they loved Peter Frampton. Every guy had it. They liked playing guitar. It was just an album that
I
everyone
hear
had.
that and Rumors, they just mailed to you. Like they just mailed you copies, whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah, Rumors, like I said.
Well, and
Rumors.
Bat Out of Hell. That was the other one.
Bat Out of Hell was huge too.
Those
Yeah.
3 albums, yeah. Or and some Eagles album too. Everybody just got
But I
it.
think Rumors has kept the staying power. Oh, definitely over Bat Out of Hell.
Oh, for sure.
Rumors and
First
Rumors
Boston.
you can't keep in stock still.
Yeah.
You can't get
Rumors,
it.
first Boston album, Bad Out of Hell, Meatloaf. There were a couple other like monster albums right around that time. Those 2
Kiss
lined up.
Yeah.
Destroyer.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Sydney, what do you got for us?
Cool. So Lynn took some of mine, but I'm just gonna stick with my original pick, so that's fine. So number 5, I had to go with. Actually, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that you picked the song that you did because I picked the same one, which I guess is why I was a little surprised, just because I feel like normally people go for like "Show Me the Way" and like other ones, which. So I was like, oh my god, she actually picked the same song that I was gonna pick too. So I had to go with "Baby I Love Your Way" because I love the studio version of that song, but I mean, as we just talked about, I mean, it doesn't really get better than the live version. So I had to include this one somewhere on my list. Number 4, I have some physical copies. I don't. Some of my other CDs are downstairs, and I always grab all these last minute, so I'm always away from a couple of them. But I'm actually going to go with a band that I've talked about many times on here that I really love. They had a very special live album that they did. I believe it was either 90 or 91 that they filmed right here, or that they recorded right here in Philadelphia. And that is Tesla Live at the Troc. And I have to go with Love Song because I love the studio version of that song so much, but that live version is so special to me. Living in Philly and just, having that album take place here. And that is really kind of, if we really want to get technical about it, it's kind of the catalyst for a lot of what became MTV, Unplugged, eventually whatever came in the following years for that, the Nirvanas and the Kiss Unplugged and all that stuff. That album was really the catalyst for that. And I love that version. And he changes the lyrics, don't you even worry, Philadelphia. It's so great. I love it. I love Jeff Keith. So had to go with that, had to include that. Number 3, it might be an unpopular opinion, but it's kind of definitive to me. I have to go with the reality tour, which is David Bowie in 2004. And he did a version of Rebel Rebel that he opened up the show with. And it's my favorite version of Rebel Rebel that there's ever been. I love the studio version, of course, but this was really special to me because when I got into David Bowie, I got this DVD for Christmas, and David Bowie is kind of where it all started for me. So this is like some of my earliest memories of really watching him and listening to him. And so that version of that song means a lot to me. And this was the last tour that he ever did. This is the last, footage of him ever, performing that song, at least, professional recording. So I love that version, and not something that I feel like people gravitate towards, but just a special memory in my life that means a lot to me. So gotta go with that. I'm shocked no one has mentioned this yet, but my number 2 is going to be Love to Love by UFO.
Okay.
I love Strangers in the Night, obviously. I feel like I probably took your pick, Pete, I don't know if I did.
You're close.
But the studio version of that song is great. To me, it does not get any better than the live version. There's something on that entire album
Yes.
that in the air when they were recording that, but that song is just
I'm glad you brought that album up.
Had to include that one. Yeah, I was shocked that you didn't mention it at all, Steve.
I kind of overlooked it, but yeah, that's another album I would say back then when in the 70s myself, I had that record and probably didn't have any of their solo stuff except for Lights Out. I had Lights Out and I had the live album back then. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I love the studio recording. I was thinking about Doctor, but I like the studio recording of that just a little bit more for me personally. But Love to Love is like it doesn't beat the Strangers in the Night version. And then number 1, I had to go with I Want You to Want Me. I've seen Cheap Trick twice now, and every time Robin Zander says that, I'm like, ooh, this is like just like the record.
Tell me, right? Who doesn't?
I'm like, I love it. I mean, like, I want you to want me. Like, it's classic. It's iconic. It doesn't get any better than that. So that had to be my number 1, as basic or cliche as that might be. Trying to think of if I have any honorable mentions. I'll mention it later if I do. I have some notes and thinking about it. So those are my 5.
Cool. Good stuff. The guy with the awesome goblets, or when you need to show that, hold that up. That is
For the
pretty
gift. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
None of us dressed
That
up
is
this is like the
interesting.
Halloween episode. Nobody dressed up for Halloween.
What is it?
You know what's better, Pete, is I'm just drinking water out of it too.
What is it?
What's up?
Is it a head?
It's a goat's head. It's a satanic goat head. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lynn.
okay.
Don't
Well-
look at it. Don't look at it.
Too close.
Yeah, I got it. She's got
That's
it.
it, man. You got that
covered.
right.
She's got the
Okay.
whole out there.
It
All right.
burns.
And the handle's a goat horn too. Like it
I'm
curls
sorry.
around.
I'm gonna
That's
hold up my
awesome.
holy water right now.
I would like to see what would happen if you sprinkled that on his mug right
You
now.
just watched The Exorcist last night, and so you need to
We just
sprinkle
turned into a regular mug.
Ryan's
you
gonna
know?
go,
No, but I'm gonna keep my holy water with me.
Power of Christ compel
the power of Christ compels you.
Whatever. I'm bringing it to your house.
Yeah, I would start to melt
Drink
maybe if
that.
that had when that was uttered.
The power of Bruce compels you.
There you
The
go.
holy
Yeah.
water.
I'll
Holy
take
water.
Bruce. Bruce can compel me all he wants, but that goat is. I'm out.
So I should knock it off your Christmas list this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
please.
I'll
For everybody. You don't want it? Yeah. All right.
Okay with that. Need me head.
Oh, so all right, I'm gonna go reverse chronological because why not? So first one is a rare thing. Nick kind of touched on it.
No
but
kidding.
What's up?
No kidding. It's gonna be super rare. I bet.
You know what, Steve? You know what, Steve? You've seen every band on my list, Steve. How about that?
Good.
Maybe
Okay. I mean, I have
maybe
to pick up Butch's slack with you a little bit since Butch is
Yeah,
on
I think we've
vacation.
seen every
here.
band here multiple times, Steve. But here we go. So the first band is from Norway. The band is Mayhem, and in 1990 they recorded a live album with their singer Dead, who later killed himself shortly afterwards, called
Oh,
Live
God.
Lightning from Germany. But no, it's so there's a couple songs on here that would appear on their studio album that came out a year or two later. Those versions, I like the one on the studio album more, but there's a version of a song called Carnage that was on the earlier demo that I love. Very raw, which is rare because live black metal albums are like they don't exist. There's very few of them, and I couldn't really name many that are worth listening to. I don't own any, besides this one. But yeah, this one's kind of classic because it had their famous singer at the time, dead, kind of probably the most famous lineup. After he killed himself, they got Attila came in, who's still with him to the day. I'm sure, Steve, most of the times you've seen him with Attila. You know, he's out.
Yeah, I think more but
That's it.
once. Yeah.
Yeah, so Attila's probably more famous because he was with them for longer and stuff. But the singer at this time, dead, was great, and this is a good live album for. And I think it sounds good for a live black metal live recording that was basically just taken off the soundboard. Wasn't really touched up. They just recorded it, threw it on tape. There you go. So I'm going with that one. Second one is Also Rare, which is a live version of a thrash metal album. So the band is Destruction. And it's 1989. They put out a live album called Live Without Sense.
Yeah.
They always had one guitarist. Mike was their guitarist their entire career. But for a short period of time, they had two guitarists. You know what? I wasn't even sure of the second guy's name because it's like one of those things where he was only in the band for a little while. His name was Harry. So he was in the band for a little while. But I put out this great live album, 1989, Live Without Sense. And I'm going with the song Bestial Invasion, which was from their 1985 album, Infernal Overkill, which is my favorite studio album from them. I love the studio album, but this live album, it just kicks ass. It's faster, it's more aggressive, it's like really, really good for like working out, which is mostly what I associate this album with, working out, because I always throw it on. So going with Little Destruction from Germany. Going further back in time to 1982 to a Blue Oyster Cult, Extraterrestrial Live. And the song I'm going to pick from this is Veteran of the Psychic Wars, which was from their 1981 album.
Yep.
That was from A Fire of Unknown Origin. Great song, also on the soundtrack to the heavy metal movie. But the version on this album is just, they have several live albums. They're all good, but I think this one's my favorite. And came out right after they did Fire of Unknown Origin. So it's got several tracks from that album. And the Veteran of the Psychic Wars is awesome. Number two, going obviously with my second favorite live album ever. This motherfucker, No Sleep Till Hammer.
Nice.
You guys mentioned a couple songs from this, but I'm going to go with Overkill because the version of Overkill on this is just fucking crazy. It's faster than the studio one. Phil's drumming is just insane. He's just way faster with the double kick drums. It's just a monster. It doesn't stop. It's much noisier and more abrasive. You turn up the volume high enough, it's your eyeballs will start to like rattle around in your skull. And especially with the fake ending, like the song ends and then they kick it up again, and it ends and they kick it up again. The live version of it's just awesome. It sounds so good. So freaking Motorhead. And they also have a lot of good live stuff too, but I think No Sleep is kind of obviously the iconic one. And then I have to go with my favorite live album of all time, and probably one of my favorite top 5 albums of all time from any band ever. It's got to be Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. Doesn't get any better than that. And this is one of those albums too where I love all the studio stuff this comes from, but the live versions from this are the definitive versions. So I'm going to go with the opening track, Exciter. It's just the way it opens the album up. It's faster. Les Binks' drumming is insane. It just like brings you right into the album. It starts with that crowd noise. Halford sounds amazing. I don't really care if he recorded the vocals later on. They recorded the vocals apparently, and they sounded fucked up on tape, so they redid them in the studio. I don't give a fuck about that. The final product sounds amazing. Every song is great. This is the version, there's multiple versions of this. This one's with several bonus tracks that aren't on the original vinyl, but Exciter is just one of the best songs they ever wrote, and great opening song too. Obviously the original from Stained Class from '78. So you're just fucking pretty.
Not bad, man. Ryan actually matched on 2 same albums. Huh?
Sweet.
Yeah, different songs.
Different songs, but yeah.
And I don't know if I had any honorable mentions. Probably the biggest one for me isn't really a live song, but it's the album. It's Live It Leads by The Who. It's like that is hands down.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
If I listen to The Who, I really just listen to Live It Leads. I love that album. I love Keith Moon's drumming on that. I don't know how much coke he snorted beforehand, but
he's a monster.
It sounds really good, and it's nice and raw, fast, abrasive. Best thing they ever did for me. So that would be my only honorable mention.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, since we had so many Unleashed in the East picks tonight, I'm going to save mine for my honorable mention because it was originally in my top 5, but I'm going to throw some other stuff out here. Deep Purple, Made in Europe, Burn.
Ooh,
Nice.
yes.
I was
one.
thinking about that.
Great
Gotta
tune.
say Deep Purple, or were you
I,
totally?
I mean, I love the studio version,
Yeah.
but man, the live
Yeah.
version on here from this was France or wherever the hell it was recorded.
Oh, yes.
Amazing. I mean, I love, and I've listened to this album so many times in my life. I love when like Coverdale kind of like silently steps up to the mic and goes rock and roll, and then you hear Richie Blackmore pick up selector switch on the Strat, and then it's just amazing, and the whole and it's just so incredible. I love the energy of it, and for me, I never need to listen to another version of it. I love this version of it. So that's my number
Nice.
5. Lynn kind of touched on this one. La Villa Strangiato from Exit Stage Left. I mean, for me,
Seriously.
I mean, Hemispheres, the album is iconic, but that song is in fucking
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You feel it like front into your soul. It's
And
amazing.
Alex's guitar solo on this album is so much better than on the studio version.
Yeah.
As great as that is. So yeah, that had to be on there.
Yeah.
Sydney and I were on the same wavelength, except for a different song. I'm gonna go with a little Rock Bottom from UFO Strangers in the Night.
Nice.
What's amazing is that Michael Schenker has gone on record all these years later and said that he hates this version on here.
Wow.
And it's
Oh,
like
messed up.
the guitar solo is amazing. I love the intro. It's just so incredible. And again, the studio version is great, but when I want to hear Rock Bottom, or quite frankly, a lot of these songs, I mean, you're absolutely right. Love to Love is just gargantuan on here as well. You can pick anything off of here. Steve and I are also on the same point with Live at the Fillmore from the Allman Brothers, but I'm going to go with The Memory of Elizabeth Reed.
Oh God.
Wow.
Definitive on here. I mean, man, Dwayne Allman's guitar solo is just otherworldly, and
Excellent.
Betts is amazing, and it's just one of the greatest instrumental songs. Ironically, I picked 2 instrumental songs tonight. I did not plan that. Okay.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Love Villa Strangiato and A Memory of Elizabeth Reed. So
Nothing wrong with that.
that's my number 2. And I think was it Steve went with it. Yeah, Steve also was picking this album. I'm going to go with No Quarter from The Song Remains the Same.
Nice.
Which it's kind of mellow on the studio album, but on here, Page's guitar is really heavy. You got that great guitar solo. You have the really cool electric piano from John Paul Jones, and Plant sounds amazing. So yeah, when I want to hear No Quarter, I want to hear it from Song Remains the Same. Honorable mentions, we're going to go with Victim of Changes from Unleashed in the East.
Yay.
Got to have Ronnie James Dio on here somewhere, right? So I'm going to go with Kill the King from Rainbow on Stage.
Ooh.
Nice.
And quite frankly, Man on a Silver Mountain too, because I love Man on a Silver Mountain.
Oh, yes.
I like
Much
fast Man on a Silver Mountain as opposed to slow
Yeah.
Silver Mountain from the first Rainbow album.
Yeah.
What else? The Who, Won't Get Fooled Again from the Kids Are All Right album. Live cut from the Shepperton Studios 1978, right before Keith Moon died. To me, that just absolutely blows away the Who's Next version. It's raw, exciting, full of power. Love it. Paul McCartney and Wings, Maybe I'm Amazed from Wings Over America.
Freaking love that song.
Saw that on some
It
list.
gets me so excited.
I was thinking of that album with like Venus and Mars too.
Yeah,
Ah,
absolutely, Steve. Yeah, Rock Show. I almost picked Rock Show, but
love that song.
I mean, Maybe I'm Amazed is so great on here. And I'm pretty sure
Holy
they
shit.
did a single. It did very, very well. Then I'm going to go with Inside Looking Out from Grand Funk Railroad from the live album. So much energy, so heavy, raucous, love it. That's the one I want to hear. And then we talked about Kiss. I ultimately decided to go, and I did not even realize I was wearing the Ace shirt today, that I picked Shock Me from Kiss Alive 2. Which got to have the Ace guitar solo. This version is just so much cooler than the original version on Love Gun. Also, love God of Thunder is great on here.
Oh yeah.
Really heavy. So those are my picks.
Pete,
Nice.
one question.
Yes.
Made in Japan. Do you think anything off Made in Japan holds its toes with the studio stuff? Deep Purple. I mean, that was one of another iconic records.
Steve, I almost picked Highway Star.
I
Yeah,
thought of
I
that
didn't
one
pick that
too.
because I thought other people were going to pick that.
Yeah,
think that's
Yeah, I like that
I
song.
didn't want to
too.
pick more than one Deep Purple, so I
Sure.
chose to go with
But
Burn.
you-
But
That's a good tune. We could
Highway
pick a
Star
ton of
is-
songs though.
yeah, Highway Star is really great on
Yeah.
here. And you know what? Child in Time rules on there too, but I love the studio version too.
Yeah, that's always tough to go against that one, but I just thought, Made in Japan, Made in Europe were 8 tracks that I had, and I listened to those way more than their studio albums back in the 70s.
Yeah, they're both great. I played both of them to death. I mean, there was a time where all I was listening to was like both of those 2 Deep Purple albums, Sabbath Live at Last, then Live Evil, and Song Remains the Same, and UFO, Strangers in the Night.
Yeah.
Both those Rush albums, because All the World is Stage too has some definitive stuff.
First and Out too back then.
Wings Over America. I mean, I just listened to live albums constantly when I was there.
I had one question for Chris Allo. When you said that the Black Sabbath Symptom of the Universe is one of your picks earlier, what recording were you discussing about that? What album were you talking about?
You could pick any of the live versions, but my particular one that I really like is the one that they did in '78, in June of '78 at the Hammersmith Odeon.
Okay. And
I have it on multiple bootlegs.
It's really good on this one too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I gotta open that up. I didn't get one. I got one. I didn't open it yet, but I need to.
I bought it from your store, Steven. I haven't opened it yet either.
Yeah, you've been too busy.
Yeah, been a lot going on.
Another one I thought of it just came to my mind because I thought about it. I didn't pick it because I don't know if I would choose it over the studio version, but I love it probably equally, is Crazy Train off the tribute album with Randy Live. Like, there's just something about the way that song opens up, and like how Randy's like just playing before the riff even, it's kind of like just magical that Randy's on there and recorded and it's live. So I didn't want to pick it because it's like I don't know if I would pick it over the studio version of that, but I feel like it's up to par.
True.
Nice.
Oh hell yeah, Nick. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I
You
just
just
thought of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thought of that. Signed by
The Earth.
Carlo. Yeah, I just
That's a
popped
great
in my
one.
yeah. Everything on here sounds amazing.
Yeah,
does.
Ice Earth live in Athens, man. That's
That's
great.
one of the
version
best
of all
ones I ever
those.
did.
Hey Steve, another one too. Midnight Rambler from Get Your Yayas out by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, there's definitely some stones you could have threw in on this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, hopefully we covered most of the bases. I'm sure
Yeah.
someone's gonna comment on something.
Oh, I'm
we
sure
missed.
someone will remind us that somebody forgot something, but
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great live albums and so many great live versions of songs. So for everybody watching, if there's some really glaring omissions, put them in the comments below. These are some of our favorites, though. So there's probably tons more, but these are some really good ones that are special to us. So
Got a cool one I just pulled off the shelf here. I don't know if I'd say it's one of my favorites, but the context makes it cool. It's the band Tormentor, which is Attila from Mayhem's older
Yes.
band. They reunited. They played a bunch of shows. So in September of 2020, when shows were still totally fucked, they managed to play a little show in their hometown of Budapest. And it's the cover and the title's cool. They
And
put a
we're
mask
fucking
on.
goat heads, bro. What's up?
And they
That's
called it,
Gorgar from the pinball machine.
called it's a little hard to see. There's the logo, but the title is COVID Witch Fuck. And they put a mask on the goat head.
that's awesome.
So it's just like it's not like really fancy. It's just a
It's
sound.
no goat penis, but it's really cool.
No,
I
the goat
didn't even
penis
know
is
that. I didn't even know that came out. Right?
I can't do the goat head thing, man.
You
Can't
had
do
to
it.
order this right from
Not
the
even
band.
at the betting zone.
Ugh.
Now, Steve, this
freaking me
wasn't
out.
available like from any distributor. I bought this right from the band. It was
Oh,
only a
okay,
couple.
yeah. I
That
mean,
was
you were talking about black metal live albums. I actually thought that the one that Mayhem did on the 25th or anniversary or whatever it was of the D Mysterious was a very strong album too. That live album was very good.
That was good, but just the first one's kind of infamous.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first things they ever did, and had their old singer on it and stuff. So
Lynn
Immortal.
wants to keep goats in petting zoos. right?
No,
Not
I'm
even
good
at
with-
petting zoos, you can't see a goat. I mean,
Well, is
agree
it
to
an
that.
evil petting zoo?
no,
Is it an
regular
evil
petting
petting
zoo. We have
zoo?
feed
Is
them
it an
stuff
evil
out of a
petting
little
zoo?
machine, and
what other kind of petting zoos are there? Fucking evil.
Am I an
petting
evil
zoos?
vet? Be an
I
evil
didn't know
vet.
there were evil petting zoos. That's something that maybe Ryan. went to.
We're gonna open that next week, Steve. We'll start it up.
There are evil petting zoos.
Hey, next week, what are we doing? It's the day after Halloween. Maybe we should all come in costume since we didn't do it this week.
Unfortunately, I'm on a planning board meeting that night,
Ah,
but you guys can have fun.
we'll miss you.
We should probably do
Yes,
like
sir.
a night after Halloween, some kind of your favorite like spooky album of all time.
Oh, boy.
I
Ryan.
have-
Like the Monster Mash.
I have several
It
thousand.
was a graveyard smash.
Send my CD collection.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Some of our favorite songs, and we like the live version the best. So put yours in the comments below, and it'll be kind of cool to see what everybody comes up with. And if we missed anything that will jog our memories and be like, oh shit, we totally forgot about that one. I'm sure there's plenty. Oh, Princess of the Night by Saxon from The Eagle Has Landed.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Got
right.
it in just under the wire.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. 20 years of Sea of Tranquility on the internet. Visit us on Facebook and on Twitter. But of course, we're here on this thing called YouTube all the damn time. For Lynn Versace, Chris Sallow, Nick Franco, Steve Keeler, Sydney Taylor, Ryan Scow, I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Take care.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! Yes.